You grow through what you go through. I was watching a Netflix show with my mom when I encountered this quote. It was uttered by Jonathan Owens, a husband to a gymnast champion, Simone Biles. That quote really resonated with me and sent shivers down my spine. My life's journey has truly spoken for itself. How true the quote really is. For most of my life, I was have I have always been a shy type, soft spoken and reserved. I used to avoid social situations and be an outcast in my friend group. This is for fear of being judged by my friends and how my friends would perceive me as. This led to me being picked at and being taken advantage of. For most of my life, I struggled to develop meaningful and deep friendships as well as relationships and engage in engaging conversations. I've always asked myself, why can't I be confident like my friends or as talkative as my friends? Why can't I have the same energy that my friends possess? I said to myself, enough is enough. I decided to research more, read more, and reflect more on how to be a more confident when communicating with others, as well as how to up my social skills. However, it didn't bear any fruit. I asked myself again and again, why? Why am I still not confident when interacting with others, even though I've already read about how to up my social skills? A turning point for me was when I joined Toastmasters. It was recommended by my mom, as she believed that by joining Toastmasters, I will be able to expose myself to unnerving social situations. Initially, I was reluctant. However, I proceed on and joined Toastmasters last year in April. I thought that it would be unnerving, but it turns out the atmosphere in my club was rather friendly and they cheered me on as I tried my best to improve my my communication skills. Slowly and steadily, I found myself getting more and more comfortable in social settings. As cliche as it sounds, action truly speaks louder than words. How true is that? I wasn't just learning about communication skills, I was also applying it and going through social various social situations. Beyond that, I even applied what I've learned in Toastmasters to the real world, where people might not be as kind and forgiving. People would give side eye when I speak, as well as judge me for the way I speak and the way I move. But that doesn't stop me from continuing to expose myself in various social situations. And As time goes on, I become more well versed in my communication skills and become more confident in myself. And with every situation I counter, getting laughed at, getting judged at, and being made fun of, I regarded them as noises or obstacles to my goal, which is to become a more confident person. And for every situation that I encounter, the more I'm used to them and the more confident I became. So, what are your fears? And would you want to face your fears? Try it for yourself, because who knows, you might be able to grow through what you will go through. Over to you, contest chair.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Imran. Thank you for sharing with us about 6 minute speech. It turned out as long as you have expected it to be. I can only therefore surmise that you have spent time making it your very own. In fact, it is your very own right from the beginning. So I'm about to give or share a evaluation. This is evaluation the Toastmasters style. And although you joined April last year, it's not a very, very long period of time, but you had experience. And you're also perceptive enough to find that this creates a safe harbor. It should be no different right now. A safe harbor for you to grow through what you go through. The only difference is, to all intents and purposes, Toastmasters tend to be a safer place, a more comfortable place. Maybe it might appear to be too good to be true, but that indeed is how it is like, as contrasted to elsewhere, where the conditions may not be the same. Therefore, it creates an environment in which you can at least see something about yourself first before it gets clouded by other people's prejudgment. All right, Imran, you had been very brave to face yourself and tell a story. Personal story, especially personal growth story, that's been something that I had proposed that we use. It is very useful for beginners. In fact, it's useful for all. It's not too long ago, I remember watching via YouTube how the world champions did. I could easily remember of the three first placings, three top placings. The first and the second talk about their own personal story. It involves struggle, and you had. So your speech of struggle lends itself as a very authentic backing to what you want to say. From that very famous quotation, which is very evocative as well, we grow through what we go through. And you have substantiated your personal story from the beginning, also in the middle. So I'm glad you tried that, because once you have that as a handle, you can then explore how else to do better. And I think insofar as what we have tried to share over the last 7 sessions online, quite a number of which you have participated, you have attempted to use your story. And you didn't just stop at the beginning, you beef it up in the middle. In fact, this story see you hold through. You have chosen to use your personal story and struggles as the story of what lends support to the quotation. And you didn't mean just to have the quotation, you mean it as something to encourage your audience to grow as well. But to do so, we need to go through something. That means actions. And you aptly use the term many of us would remember and identify with, that is, actions speak louder than words. So in order to see a better version of ourselves, we need to do something. Yes, doing something is risky. As you have pointed out, you get laughed at, looked at in certain ways. Maybe at the end of the day, it's just your own personal perceptions, but they're so real that it can devastate you. So it makes us, as your audience, very relieved when you found that safe harbor in Toastmasters. Now, if for this speech, which is very encouraging to you and to everyone else who listens to it, and you want to move it to be a even more powerful speech, I have 2 suggestions for you. And this is usually how Toastmasters evaluation would go. We normally would start with something that's encouraging, affirming of what you've done well. And the other one, which is harps back to what is your need. I think it's evident that your need is that of being heard, noticed, accepted, possibly even respected to the point of idolized. Who knows? But that is a process, and you really don't mind it. However, you have found that the harder you work at it, the harder it comes to you. You may also want to add more depth to your struggle and add emotions to it. Now, you have been very steady, just like what we might be brought up in Asia. A man has to contain and restrain his emotions. Now, if you want to challenge yourself, I can guarantee that it will be a lot better, but I know it will be different, is to inject some emotions. It seems to come easier with ladies, but I don't think it is that difficult for men. Because there are moments in which you felt so devastated. I could feel it, that you can demonstrate more. For example, the way that people look at you, and worse, those people who normally had nothing good to say bad things even, just to just to see you sinking and worry that you don't sink so fast. Yeah, if you have those, talk about it. Sounds negative, but it really creates that kind of tension. Just when you thought you're doing well, you got dragged down. Now, having said that, that cannot be all gloom and doom, right? There is an upside to it. So likewise, you can invest in emotions, and that emotions can be in the choice of words that you use. The word devastated sounds heavy, it's even long, but the words elated, for example, you can use. These are words, but of course, with the way you look at into the mirror, and therefore the audience when you actually do your speech would help with more body language, gestures, emotions on your facial. You can invest in that. But I think I'm asking too much for a start, because all you want is to have a speech steadily delivered, and to that extent, you have done very well. So I obviously have taken more time in the standard evaluation. For every speech, there's 5 to 7 minutes. Usually, evaluation takes about 2 to 3 minutes, max 3.5 minutes. I've extended that, but I want to lavish you with more attention. So we tend to end the evaluation with a summation, which is all said and done, you have demonstrated very good potential. Assuming you started speaking in earnest only in April last year, hasn't been a long period of time, but you have demonstrated very good potential. Yeah, and you have done that through a very authentic sharing of your own personal story and struggles. And you have meant to do that like a man facing up to yourself. And that you are the best testimony in this speech of growing through going through. And you were willing to go through and even relate that story with us so that we can also learn from you. Now, so that is affirming. Summing, so when we sum up, we sum up that way, and we also say that if you were to want to challenge yourself more, I believe you will have a lot more thrill and excitement by exploring the use of emotions. This shouldn't be the preclusive of women per se. Men can also try throwing words and even the intonation. You can try that, and I believe we really want to look forward to your next speech. Normally, we say that, and that will be the end, right? So, well done, and keep it up. It's meant to be encouraging. It's also meant to point you to where you can improve. Okay, Imran, do you get a gist of that? What I'm trying to do to you or for you?
So basically, I have to
Mm.
inject more emotions into my speech. Uh, s-
Yes. Go ahead. I'll let you complete your sentence first. Mm.
Maybe you can
We-
use more of the like words such as elated, or maybe perhaps more feelings are yeah.
Heavy words, loaded words. You don't use it all, but it helps you, in my mind, for you. For what purpose? For you doing even better as a speech contest, as a project, or even as a personal sharing in way to come. Who knows? You may grow up like your mom to become a very able facilitator or coach or personal trainer, and you want people to relate to you as much as you relate to them. So your personal stories you could at the appropriate time. And now I'm only investing very small part constrained as contest judges. Remember, I told you that I think the contest judges are very, well, on average, just average people. So they can be moved by certain emotions, swaying your head, gesturing, and say that I was devastated. I think life simply would not be worth living another moment. I thought the earth swell in front of me and swallow me up. The kind of thing, very exaggerated. It may not be you, but it's the speech. So that is investment. Meaning normally you wouldn't do, but because you want to try it, challenge yourself, that's one way. Because you have that direction. So when you found it and said it, however, your eyes literally lit up and said that in Toastmasters, I found a different world. You can even drop your voice. It is a world like the cocoon. Now I'm born again. Just like mummies cradling me, they encourage me to grow as a person. But I need to do something. I went for speech contests. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, that kind of thing. The expression come about you feel very nurtured. Yes. I'm just pointing this out for you to, for want of better expression. For the lack of better expression, score point with the judges. It may not be good enough reason, right? But at least I'm responding to what you want to do very well, which is in a speech contest, do better. It works, especially in Toastmasters. I had the same thing with you, which is I just want to tell a story, straight face, and that's it, like a man. That means there are many points out there that we didn't grab for ourselves. Yeah. If you want to grab those points, do that. And don't ever think that it's only ladies doing it. Men are very dramatic as well. So certain drama. In fact, not okay, it just happened that I know, right? Because your mom told me. And when she demonstrated again her very famous winning speech, that speech had emotions. Have you heard her share with you that speech or practice in front of you?
Yes.
Yes, that speech about leopards, that has emotion. Yeah. You will have great genes. So you can take it from there as a reference, right? Now I'm being biased because I'm taking what I know and I'm just directed in one area, but I thought it is useful. So I could be wrong, but you should take whatever is useful for you. And I look forward to you enjoying making speeches, communicating, and even leading. All right? Right? Any questions for me?
Uh, so far, no questions.
Okay. Questions could sometimes come only later, deep in the night, early in the morning, and you feel like you want to bring it up to me openly in the group. We still have a learning group, a very quiet one, right? And or you want to ask me in private, by all means, right? To me, it gives me joy that people are getting something from me. And this is one of the precious occasions which I can do this without having to think too much about is it worth it for me financially, economically. We do it out of our own enjoyment and admiration for the community. So I'm glad you show up. Right? So keep it up, Mimran. Okay. Now, I'm mindful of time always. I like to keep things short and sharp. Today, with no exception, we should run for another 10 minutes. But I want to thank Imran for giving that 6-minute speech because it gives me a good way to look back at what I have done over the last 7 sessions. I have given some ideas of where to go for, whether coincidentally or deliberately. I have found that Imran has utilized some of it, quite notably personal growth story, even questions. It's just that the question that I pick up during your speech is that of a question you ask yourself. Now, you can also ask everybody. You say, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, suddenly it's like you talking the whole world instead of that part. You say, I ask myself, is it this and that? Or you say, ladies and gentlemen, tell me, is it me or is it something else? Then people may look at you, may not answer, but they will pay attention to you, right? And they feel for you. So it's just a matter of you turning it. It's a question anyway. Or if you can also try rhetorical questions. Sometimes when we are not so happy with mom, I have my fair share of that. I ask mom, have I really not worked hard enough? Have I not proven myself? The kind of thing, which means that I have, and I'm entitled to have my peace of mind. Don't nag me now. Is the kind of meaning. Don't do that to your mom though. I'm just citing, yeah. As a younger boy, I tend to ask myself, have I not worked hard enough? So questions like that, you can ask the audience, say, have I not worked hard enough? Have I not been pleasant boy enough? Have I not followed all the instructions and be nice to everybody? Why are they doing this to me? Okay. So when you ask why are they doing this to me, in that more dramatic intonation, you're injecting emotion. Yeah, injecting emotion. So three things we have been trying to do in all these short sessions is try as much as possible to steady ourselves, draw from our own stories. You have done that. Ask certain questions, which is to get audience engagement and empathy, and also to inject emotions. Now that may need some practice for some people. It may be so natural for others, but it is worth investing. Same advice and reminder I also give to myself. Yeah. And that, yeah, we explore ways in which we can expand our own repertoire of our expression. Yeah. So today the topic is actually, after what we went through on Wednesday, that was like a 17-minute. Today we can do a full half an hour, and I want to talk a bit more about in the middle of the speech. Yeah, how do we continue to inject emotions? Okay. It is very useful, from especially reflecting on what Imran had shared. Very useful to, based on the story you have, ask certain questions which are emotionally charged. It's one thing to be emotionally charged, is another to lose control. So when someone has lost his mind, he'll be just screaming all over. So that is not using emotions in a way that will benefit the audience. Yeah, emotion is to get people to come to your side and feel your pain, anxiety, apprehension, and even on the other end of it, your elation. Yeah, I'm elated, I'm elation. So in order to do that, we can use choice of words, vocabulary, we can use intonation, facial expression, all this added together. Added together. In the body of language, it is important because the meat of what you give to the audience actually from there. They the takeaway is a lot is from there, although the spicing up is the beginning and the end, but the meat is in the middle. And most of the things we would eventually unfold is in the middle. Things that you do with your friends to get their acknowledgement, the process that you went through in, or the nourishment that you get in Toastmasters, and that is in the middle of it. So, as a man, as a form of exercise and practice, ask ourselves: would it be useful now to blend? You blend first personal story because it's easy to remember, you won't forget. Next is you ask questions, because when you ask questions, you make the audience respond. In fact, psychologists have found that people may reject command. You ask me to do A, I do B. I don't want to do. It's possible. But the mind is very hard to be constrained not to respond to questions, meaning we are naturally curious enough to respond to questions or not ignore it. So when you throw questions in your speeches, you are playing that psychology to your favor of getting the audience hooked on you. Yeah. And we want that. Because when they are hooked on you, you feel it. Even if they don't applaud, they don't respond, even if they don't laugh, you can feel it. And better still, when you can see it. When you are less nervous, you would actually establish eye contact with this one for 2 seconds, 3 seconds, not more, with your silence and pause. Now, I'm not going that way because those are more intermediate and advanced. Sometimes a speech is so powerful and we say nothing, or we put it very soft. Okay, we don't have to go that way yet, but building on what you have, because emotions are related in many ways. Sometimes the pregnant pause so powerful. We call it the deafening silence. Because I'm not good at it, I can only say that there's such a thing. Maybe one day I'm so good at it, I will come and demonstrate it. But let's respect that it exists in a speech. And while we are practicing, we can be more straightforward and just invest emotions. So, looking at what we have gone through so far, asking questions, especially rhetorical questions. Have I not worked hard enough? Questions like this, you have three things into it. One is about you, your story. Second is a question, so people have to respond or not ignore. It's just psychologically that way. And thirdly, you can inject emotions in the form of a rhetorical questions, emotionally even more charged. Sometimes we vary the sentence structure a little bit, add a question tag like, I have a I have been a good boy, right? Or I have been a good boy, haven't I? So you ask these kind of questions to the audience as though they are listening and responding to you. In fact, they are. Yeah. So you can say, then I asked my mom, Mom, have I not been working hard enough? It's okay. A variation is you can ask your mom. You say, ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you, isn't it obvious that I've been working hard? Haven't I? That kind of thing. Of course. Another variant first is you pretend that the audience is not around and your emotions will be the switching and the to and fro between you and your best friend. When my best friend stabbed me at the back, I was devastated. I can't help but confronted him. What have you done? Or what did I do to deserve this? And you move your body just to the other side to respond. Now you are Sean. Imagine Sean is your best friend who really let you down, and just stammered. I don't know. So maybe something like that. You see, all these because they are conversation and dialogue, and because you switch from you to Sean, Sean back to you, the emotional switching will be also obvious. Now, lest you think that, oh, are we doing drama? No, this drama center, the stage, a bit, not a lot. That's how we can demonstrate emotions. And that's when we characterize the people in the speech. Yeah. So I'm glad that Imran gives me a certain canvas upon to put things. I don't have to just use my own. I use his story. And you guys have been listening to that part of a story. You find it in the meat. It has a lot of that struggles and pain, which everyone will grow up with. It's just that you make it count. And he has, because he was brave enough to face it, question it, and do something about it. And at no moment did he allow himself to wallow in self pity or pain for too long. A little bit is fine, just to feel it because that's life and then move on. Yeah. So all these are emotional stuff and it helps. So as long as we know we're not losing control, losing temper, no, we are using that to be a very authentic transcreation or expression of ourselves, we would capture the attention, interest, and finally admiration, yeah, of the audience. Right. Imran, anything else to add on that or ask me about emotions?
Uh, no.
All right. The rest is practice. The rest is whether you want to better your speech that way. Yeah. My final shot to you is don't be like me. I always have this misconception that if I speak one time, whether I win or don't win or whatever, I don't want to do the same topic again. But I have realized over the last few years when I take more attention to speakers is they actually have some pet stories. They will talk about them again, but not in exactly the same way. Yeah. So do not be afraid of using this story again because it can be used to different effect. Yeah, it can be. And I'm saying this as a form of encouragement to you and a reminder to me that good stories need not be so many. Good stories just to be so versatile and you can use it to your advantage and the benefit of your audience. Okay. All right. So in the final minute, all right, just to wrap up this part because we'll be back tomorrow at 9:30 again. That will be when we talk about using emotions in the closing. Emotions in the closing. Yeah. So Imran, if you like to, you can bring this story again or another speech, and I will be paying a lot more attention towards the ending, how the ending can be powerful, intriguing. I like intriguing ending, make people think a bit more. So how we can use emotions to that extent. If you have other people's speeches or other famous speeches which you can search, find, or analyze, we can bring it up. But I would much prefer having your own because you can get to practice as well. Yeah. Okay, Imran.
Okay.
Very well. So I will see you tomorrow if you can make the time. Don't feel obliged, but I'm always there. Tomorrow will be the last session, after which I wouldn't have something very structured. I will go into something haphazard. Haphazard means it's just anything. It could be your speech, someone else's speech, it could be mine, so that we don't feel like everything is so very stiff. With 9 sessions covering the beginning, middle, and the end, and with these 9 sessions harnessing three techniques, I think, would be a very good start for most of us, I think. Right. Okay. I'll bid you good night. And if we get to meet tomorrow, it'd be wonderful. Thank you, Imran. Bye bye.
Okay, bye bye. Thank you.
Thank you.